It is now Monday, and I'm hoping today is the day where I finish these brass dials. This white Delrin is a setup part, which will help keep us from making mistakes with the brass. I think that's good. This is the first actual part, and I don't have any spares. First brass part looks pretty good, but I want a better finish on this top little gear-like thing, so I'm going to refine my feeds and speeds. It's going to be hard to see on camera, but I think the finishes actually got worse with my tweaks. I'm going to grain the faces of these using this adhesive back sandpaper that's on a thick piece of glass. Last part's done. I gave the parts a quick bath in the ultrasonic, and now they're shiny and beautiful. Now we need to do a black enamel fill on the engraving and get these shipped out to the customer tonight. The only problem is I've never done this enamel fill before, and I'm terrified of ruining these. I did some quick tests trying to figure out the best way to apply the enamel, and I think this little tiny broken jeweler's saw blade is actually the best way to go. It does a really good job of picking up just the smallest drip of the enamel. So that didn't exactly go as planned. I was hoping I could keep all of the enamel off the face so I wouldn't have to do any cleanup, but I just don't see that happening. Wiping it off didn't work either, that just smudged it. I'm gonna try to cure the paint with a heat gun and see if I can clean it off after it's dry. I don't know how to tell if this is dry, but there's enough heat in this piece of brass that's gonna stay hot for a while, so I'm just gonna move to a second piece and see if I can do better. Hold on, I think I just figured it out. I just tried wiping it again with it hot, and it cleaned up really nicely. I think the heat made the paint less gloopy, so it is easier to clean. The trick seems to be to keep a really clean paper towel and to make sure that you have a flat plane instead of something with wrinkles that can get down inside the letters. If you do that, you can just clean the top off right over the engraving. I was doing some carabiner production when something interesting happened. My end mill broke right about there in the cut. And if you look at it, you can see the arm of the carabiner moved like 1.5 miles. For whatever reason, there's a lot more stress in this material than there was in the last batch. Fortunately, that happened on the very last pass, so I'm hopeful that I can save this carabiner. But even if I can't, I can definitely save this one because this has just barely started cutting. I doubled my number of tabs, and that seems to have done it. I don't see any deformation here, and my end mill's still in one piece. With the dials done, we can get back to my most dreaded project, which is finishing up this air loop. When we left off, I started plumbing my shop for compressed air, but I ended up just directly plumbing my air compressor into my sandblaster. Now it's time to do this the right way. I've got my first drop in here. It has a T, one of those sides is left for future expansion. The other side goes to this high flow quick disconnect, and that'll be for the mill. For now, I'm gonna focus on getting the rest of this pressurized, so I'm just gonna cap it right here. And by doing that, that means I can get my Cerakote set up. So I have this drop in, a T that's capped off there, this drop in, this drop in, and this drop in. Now to get to minimum viable functionality, I need to hook that into that. I might regret this, but I think my only option is to cut it here. We don't have a full loop yet, but our air system should work. Let's see if anything pops when we pressurize it. There's pressure between the compressor and the regulator, which we know is pretty much airtight. Now I'm gonna start slowly turning on the regulator and listening for hisses. All right, we have air in the system. Holding at 10 PSI. All right, holding at 20 PSI, 40. All right, 60 PSI, 80 PSI. There's 100. Still.